All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to the Center of Love, the Love Club, as my wife likes to call it. Glad to see everybody here in person and online. And just a heads up, we had a little miscommunication around who's hosting and who's introducing. So we're just going to wing it a little bit today. That being said, we're never really winging it because anytime we gather in the name of love, love is with us, and we are all going to receive that kind of inspiration as we open our hearts and clear our minds and get ready to connect in a deep, meaningful way. And to start us off, I flipped open my love book and wanted to share a quote with you from the Tao Te Ching. The Tao Te Ching is, if you translate it, it means the book of the way. And well, what way? Interestingly enough, I think it's probably the same way that Jesus referred to when he spoke and taught his ministry. It's the way of oneness, union, alignment with nature, and of course, that all implies love. And so in the 7th chapter of the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu says, heaven is eternal, the earth endures. Why do heaven and earth last forever? They do not live for themselves only. This is the secret of their durability. For this reason, the wise person puts herself last and so ends up ahead. She stays a witness to life, so she endures. Serve the needs of others and all your own needs will be fulfilled. Through selfless action, fulfillment is attained. Very counterintuitive. Putting yourself last, ending up ahead, serving the needs of others, and somehow that serves your needs and fulfills you. It's a very mysterious book, but I think a lot of the people here are picking up what Lao Tzu was laying down. And so this is why we gather in community, to find other people, not who are necessarily like-minded, but who are like-hearted and who are seeking that deeper level of connection. So welcome. Welcome to the Center of Love. As I like to tell people, we've got some new faces, maybe online as well. If you're looking for the Center of Love, I always like to tell people it's on the corner of here and now. That's right. Anywhere you are right now is the center of love. This community is just a place for us to gather and tap into that in a more powerful way. Because when you are by yourself in the center, it's beautiful. But when you have a room full and an online room full of beautiful people who are also tapping into that space, that infinite reservoir of love that each of us has access to, well, it's transformational and life-changing. And I thank you all for being a part of it. And so without further ado, I'm going to play our opening song, and then Barbara, I'll get you to come and introduce our speaker today.
All right, thank you. My name is Barbara, and I'm here to do the introduction of the speaker today. The speaker today, I've only known her less than a year, and she's made a big difference in my life. She was the person I needed at the right time. Hopefully I give her as much as she gives me. She's going to continue her talk from last time about the levels of consciousness and what it takes to return to wholeness. She's touching on the masculine and feminine levels of consciousness as well. I'd like to introduce Tracey Malanowich.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Barbara. And welcome everyone. And I wanted to say, happy Chinese New Year. It is the Lunar New Year, and what a great beginning from focusing on love and what a celebration of the moon. So I wanted to just acknowledge that somewhere in the world, part of us is celebrating something else. So, today I want to talk about oneness mostly. And wholeness, and how my deepest understanding, and give you that we are all one, and what does that look like when we feel so separate here, and how does that happen? So I believe we came from oneness, and maybe some part of us asked, is there more? Because it is so divine and so beautiful. And in order to see ourselves better, we had to separate into this world of physical. And one part left and went ahead was a pioneer, a masculine part that came, full of action, protection, preparation, providing. And as that happened, and part of us got to see that consolidated from this ether, this wholeness that we all swim in, and another part joined, maybe the feminine, and the feminine that nurtures and is creative and could feel safe in that masculine container. And because we came out of that in order to see it, we're also drawn back together, that polarity that's there in divine communions and relationship. And so that everything has a purpose, that there would be a way back when we divide and separate, and a way to come back, that polarity. Whether you're in a masculine or feminine body, you have somewhere within you a core that's masculine or feminine, and you'll be drawn to that other part to explore and get to know more of yourself, if that makes sense. And so when we ask, it's always given, and we ask for more and we get that opportunity. And then what do we do with it? That's where here we have this divine choice. We can choose how we feel. And the irony of it is, in that asking to see more of us, that separation comes. But as we come back together and we create from wholeness in a relationship, which then, what is the purpose of relationships? I believe the purpose of relationships is to amplify emotion and energy, because when two or more come together, the whole is greater than the parts, if that makes sense. If you've ever taken something apart, a device trying to fix it, it makes no sense until you get it back together. So we separate out and we come back together, and there's this action. And in that solidifying of something we created, we get to see more of ourselves. And then we create children, a vessel for them to come, and we send into them the best of what we have in the physical world. And some piece of them from the ether who wanted to experience this world as well comes down or across or through us to again experience more. And then there's more of us, but we're all from the same place, if that makes sense. This divine energy. And what is energy? I always like to ask, and energy is emotion. And what the part of us, the unseen part, really is all an emotional body, an emotional flow. And the human physicality of it is the most solid form of it, the most concentrated form. And so we have all of that within us. And so as we enjoy and expand, and we come together and we create, and there's this action that happens, and that purpose is to amplify, and our children come to us and experience where we're at as a level of consciousness, and perhaps they feel that separation from where they were, trying to find their way back to the wholeness. And you're their only piece, maybe perhaps a reminder of what that wholeness is, that parent. And in their youth, in their level of consciousness, where they're at, in order to belong, and they don't have a masculine and a feminine then to be drawn to, their children. They're innocent, and they're all possibilities, all levels of consciousness developing all at once. And they learn to gain love, that maybe there's certain things in this world to do, because we survive on love. So they learn to become pleasers, or they learn to become achievers or performers. But in that asking to see more, just as the masculine came, leaving the feminine, and then the feminine came, leaving their masculine, came into this world, found each other to feel more whole. The child chooses, when you choose a piece of yourself, there's a piece you negate that you leave behind. So when you choose the pleaser, what part, maybe the rebel that goes to the corner, knows that it's not going to receive love. And within ourselves, we develop these personalities, these parts of ourselves, parts that express because they're rewarded, and parts that don't express and take a back seat. And in that, we develop parts of our personality. And the truth is, I may be Tracey and Lassia may be Lassia and Dre may be Dre, but within you, you have other parts, other archetypes, parts of your psyche. And some of them don't get to come out because what has worked is what you'll do to survive in this world and experience the love that you came for and that you want. So in the act of wanting, we're also negating a piece of ourselves. And at the same time, we are whole. We're all one. We have all those pieces. It's just what part is running you right now? And what part is sitting back that hasn't been rewarded, but still there and feeling and needing to express at some point in your life? And so we have all these parts running around, and we have a certain amount of energy we come in with. We can call it our chi, our inheritance. And when we suppress one part of us, like the rebel, because the pleaser had to show up to survive the childhood years and maybe an authoritarian level of consciousness that they were raised in, then they didn't get to express, but the act of suppressing also suppresses the emotions that they felt. And in that act of suppressing, we hold back our own energy. And the more that we hold back these pieces of ourselves, the more illness and disease may develop within us. Because we're meant to be all of who we are, all possibilities. And to come back around to the oneness and the wholeness and the allness, if you think about it, where we came from as one, came out into this world as masculine and feminine, and then families, and then communities. That oneness came out with all these parts, the Lassias, the Dreys, the Lindsays, the Bens. All of these are part of that oneness. And then within us, we're developing these personalities. And so in order to find ourselves again, we need ourselves to find the wholeness within us. We go out, and to listen to others is the greatest honor, because within them is that seed of the peace maybe we're not expressing. And as we get to see more of others and interact and we listen and we learn, we live more, and when we love on them and really see what they're going through, what they're expressing, they may be expressing the rebel because the pleaser got pain. Whereas you're expressing the pleaser because the rebel got pain. And in this world, when we can acknowledge that all parts exist outside of us, we can acknowledge and love them within us as well. So I just ask you, which part is running you today? Are you a giver? Because if you're a giver, did you negate the taker? And if you have to suppress the taker, what energy is sitting there in the background making unconscious agreements with others? And I invite you to negotiate your pleaser into a helper, your achiever into a servant leader, your performer into a teacher, and embrace all of them that we see without and all of them that we see within us, knowing that we are incredible beings, that we encompass all. And where can I see more wholeness? Where can I love more? Just as we asked when we began this journey, is there more love? And in conclusion, I'd just like to say there's always more love if we love on the others and we look into them and truly see where they've come from, where they've been, and where they're going. We're all moving in the same direction, like nature, like emergence. And if we do it with love, it's a far better energy than anything else. So I leave you with happy Chinese New Year. Take the love out into the world, enjoy, and be one.
Look at that. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. You're welcome. Do you hear that? We enlightened Jody, just first time visit. She doesn't need to come anymore. So awesome. Well, thanks. Yeah, the online group had a stellar conversation as well, and the topics ranged from archetypes and energies to the trauma of birth and repressed memories and government mind control. We went on a wild adventure. We went on a journey together, and now we're back here. And so glad that everybody had good conversations. So we've just got another song to go, and then we'll give you a little message of parting. And but before we do that, I want to say thank you very much to Tracey for your very thought-provoking talk. Thank you, Barbara, for introducing Tracey. It was really nice to see you up here and hear your voice and give you a chance to express yourself. And so thank you for taking that chance. And just like to open it up to anybody who would like to do what Barbara did today, or what I'm doing right now. The hosting is essential. You create the container for the talk, which the talk prompts the amazing conversation that connects us all together. So it's all part of the package. If you're not ready to do a 10-minute talk, come and do some hosting, come and share some of your truth and your wisdom in a more shorter format, less pressure that way. And the other thing I want to say is, you may have noticed, some of you that have been here before, and the people online who could see the sort of the setup of the room, we're doing some things here at the Center of Love. We're making moves, because the last few months have shown us, I think, all that there's something special going on here. It's not just me, right? It's not just me. Okay, good. You feel it too. You feel it too? Okay. Whew. So the chairs, so that we can fit more people. We got rid of one of the couches. We were switching up the office spaces around to make this entire area more conducive to the community that we're all building together. And so there'll be more concrete information on that to come, because we've got some plans. But in the meanwhile, as always, we love to receive all of your gifts. And usually I'm not one to harp on the financial side of things, because I think money's energy and we're all here just congregating. But now we actually have something to raise money for. All of those chairs that you're sitting on, those wonderful folding chairs. So yeah, if you've got something that you'd like to donate, that'd be awesome. And then we can pay off these chairs and be debt free. But at the end of the day, what is most important, far more important than any financial contribution you could ever make to this center, is your presence. Your presence here is the greatest gift. It's the present. And so whatever financial thing, doesn't matter. What's most important is that we're here sharing love, connecting with each other, and then we're going back out into the world to be lights. Because as you know, it's a little gloomy out there. It's a little dark. And I think that we're all here because we have a purpose, and probably many purposes, but at least one of those purposes is to be a light and share the love. And so if you've got it, get out there and share it. That's the best thing you can do for yourself, others, and the Center of Love. So thank you, thank you, thank you.